Asking for client feedback. This is something a lot of public adjusters don't really do, and they should, because you guys do a lot of great work for clients. And your reputation, as you go through these classes, you'll understand how important your reputation really is, and how something online is really written in permanent marker, as Chelsea Craig said in her reputation class. What you want to do for client feedback is, of course, get those 5-star reviews, get that great feedback. Videos are the best right now, but written if you can. Let's talk about some of the best practices around getting that feedback to be able to build your reputation and your credibility. So why do this? Client feedback can be turned into testimonials for your website, testimonials for your social posts or accounts. It also leaves the door open for them to be more likely to give a referral. If there is a testimonial, if there's some feedback that they give that turned into a testimonial, somebody they know, if they post that testimonial on social media, may see it. Someone may see that is on your website that knows that person. All right, depending on how local of a PA you are. There's a lot of good reasons why getting client feedback and turning it into testimonials will work for you and provide you with a great reputation. There are 4 main ways to ask for feedback. Email, which is the best, and we'll talk about that in a little bit and why that's the best. Phone, which is not recommended by me because verbally it's difficult to translate even translate a verbal testimonial to written word on your website or social postings, for example. There's the online survey, which is pretty popular now. You could just say something like, via email, hey, I'm sending you this email because I'm hoping you can complete this quick survey. And there's a link to a survey. There's also the hard copy survey. And this is where you're physically handing them something to fill out. Not really that common anymore, but was back a decade or so ago. Still being done every now and then. So let's talk about creating the perfect customer feedback email, since that's the most easiest and most convenient way to do this. First thing you want to do is use an awesome subject line. By now, you're getting a testimonial, so you're asking for client feedback. You've been working with this client for months, probably a year plus maybe, and there's a lot of emails flying back and forth. You want to create a new thread. Don't reply to an existing thread. Create a new thread with a new subject line that specifically states something, and we'll talk about the subject line here in a minute, specifically states something along the lines of getting some kind of feedback. We'll talk about all of these actually on this screen. Personalize it. We're going to personalize those emails. We're going to tell them why they're getting the feedback request. We're going to share how you're going to use the feedback. You're going to say, hey, listen, I want to use this on social media if you don't mind. We're going to give them an idea how long the process will take so they know it's not a 20-minute process to leave a review. And then, of course, we're going to end with a thank you. So let's go through these. First of all, the subject line. Now, MailChimp, which is a software program that sends mass emails, they do a lot of studies, and they publish their studies. And one of their studies suggests that you should never use the word help or reminder in anything you do, especially in feedback and testimonial or feedback requests and testimonials. Help and reminder decreases the open rate. So what should you use for a subject line? You can say something like, I would love your feedback, or did you like my service, or did I exceed your expectations? Once the subject line is written, you're going to want to personalize it, of course. You want to put the person's first name in the email. This is way you're going to get a great review because it's written, or hopefully you'll get a great review because it's written to the person. It's not a mass email that sounds like they're sending it out. You send it out just standard to everybody. All right. This is a personal one-on-one conversation where you're asking for something in return rather than just a standard survey. And then tell them why they're getting the feedback request. If they know how important it is to you, they are more likely to do it and give you great feedback. A lot of times when I ask for feedback, I use the word lifeblood. I work on a freelancer platform. When I do freelancing work, I work on a platform called Upwork. It's the largest freelancer platform on the planet. And I say, hey, Upwork is my lifeblood. I would love great feedback. Like, lifeblood is a hard-hitting word that has a lot of impact. And when they hear that, like, wow, if I like this person and it's their lifeblood, I'm going to help them out, right? So you don't have to use that term, but that's just something that I use. If they know how important it is to you, they're more likely to do it and give great feedback. So share how you're going to use the feedback as well. They should know that you plan on using it on your website. They should know that you plan on doing a social post about it. And if you are doing a social post, can you use your full name, your full first and last name? If not, can you use your first name, last initial, or first initial, last name, or whatever, and location? Like, ask them about, like, what exactly can I use? Now, a lawyer would tell you that you may need written permission to use their likeness. All right, there are forms out there. Just Google likeness forms. And that is when a lot of times when I'm on, I've done a lot of media in my day, and I've been on TV, and I always have to sign a likeness release. And you can Google likeness release, but it's just a standard paragraph that says, I, company, choose or have the ability to use whatever written testimony you send me on any variety of platforms for unlimited length of time. It basically signs their rights away for everything they're about to give to you. And I've never had any resistance when I've had people sign it, because I use a lot of testimonials and videos of people saying good things about me. So I would recommend you use a likeness form. It's not required. However, especially if your client is a lawyer, I would highly recommend it. Then give them an idea of how long the process will take. It's only going to take 30 seconds less. It's only going to take a minute or less. This is a 2-question survey. I only need you to write 2 sentences or 3 sentences, whatever. Tell them how you realize how valuable their time is. When you say that you respect someone's time, that goes a long way, because everybody likes time that's respected. No one that I know says that they like to waste time or they like wasted time. Also say that you appreciate it. That's very important. And then, of course, you want to end with a thank you, right? You want to tell them that, hey, I appreciate your time, and I thank you for leaving this review. I would recommend not doing any kind of monetary request or monetary exchange. I've had public adjusters do that. Say, in exchange for your time, I'd be happy to leave you a $10 Amazon gift card. I mean, you're probably going to get the review anyway. It's not more about saving money. It's more about the bribery factor. Like, oh, I have to give this guy good feedback and he'll give me $10. If you have a good working relationship with someone, they are going to give you a good review, whether you pay for it or not. In fact, it's largely frowned upon in the business world to give something for getting client feedback. In fact, Amazon itself restricts it, although it's done all the time in like other countries. But in America, if you give somebody a product and it's mailed to them, and they have like a slip of paper that says, give us a 5-star review, and when we see your review, we'll send you $10. Amazon will ban your account for something like that. Now, I know there are, not going too off script here, but in China and other similar countries that work a lot on Amazon, there's entire people that it's a general business practice to do that. But for an American-made product, American seller on Amazon, for example, that won't happen. Yeah, it's actually against the rules. So, keep it simple. Just say, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to reading your feedback. And you can also say something like, hey, no pressure, but you could send it to them a couple times to see if they want to leave a review. It doesn't have to be a once-only email, but here's a sample email. The subject is, I would love your feedback. And let's just say the person you're emailing is Eric. Good morning, Eric. I very much enjoyed working with you. A great reputation online is crucial for me in my business, and great customer feedback from someone like yourself would be fantastic for my reputation. I was hoping you would be so kind as to provide me with some feedback that I can post on my website, my social media, and collateral material. So you see that I'm telling them, hey, I'd appreciate the feedback, and this is where I'm going to post it. Okay. Now, if this sounds good to you, please write me back an email of a testimonial I can use for my website and social profiles. As a side note here, I'd probably also, if you want to go as so far as to ask them, when you reply to with the feedback, please let me know if I'm able to use your first and last name and your location, something like that. A selfie video from your phone would be best, but a written testimonial also works well. The entire process would take about 30 seconds. Now, if you look at the class I made on the website reviews, actually what makes a great website, where I review some of the websites, I had mentioned in that class that the testimonials are more powerful when they're videos and not written testimonials. they could be made up. They're perceived by the user as someone could be completely fake. So always try to get a video testimonial. Those are really hard to fake. And if not, a lot of people aren't comfortable being on video or even shooting one of themselves or even feel comfortable looking at themselves on video, then just ask them for a written testimonial. But if you get a video one, that's like 10 times better than a written one. Then you close the email saying, I would love to work with you in the future. Please keep me in mind if anyone you know has an insurance claim to file. Thank you so much and keep in touch. Very simple, very short, takes about 10 seconds to read. You explain to them that the entire process would take about 30 seconds. Hey, all I need you to do is hold up a phone and say how great you like me. Okay. Hi, I liked working with you, so-and-so as a public adjuster. You were very professional. You always answered my emails. Communication was clear and honest, and you got me what I needed. Boom. Send it off. Done. Right? So I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to always make it a business practice to do client feedback. Make that a regular part of your business. Okay? Good luck.